I'm here with Troy Ladd from Hollywood Hot Rods to talk a little bit about his inspirations for the great car builder that he is. Troy, thanks for talking with us. Tell me a little bit about your inspiration and what drives you.
Well, really, I always explain this to people that I'm not a mechanic, I'm not a fabricator, I'm really an artist, and like it's just art with the medium of automobile. And that's really what kind of pushes my passion is I kind of have this, this reputation for doing traditional cars, but it's really not the case. I always do something that has a little bit of something different, a little bit of art. I like to take it to the next level, but with a certain kind of historic aesthetic, if that makes sense.
That makes complete sense when you see the cars that you build. Are there any great builders or artists, for that matter, that inspire you?
There are, actually people always ask me, like growing up, who did you look up to in the car world? And the answer is actually nobody. I kind of came into this on my own a little bit, but in the industry now, like currently, there's guys like Roy Brizio, amazing. He's a good friend and just a nice guy, and I appreciate people that are doing this for the love. And keep their passion true. And I know Shaporis, Trepanier is a good guy. Gosh, there's so many people that are good people in this industry, and I try to gravitate to those people, and I respect those type of people.
Speaking of people, this is a people industry, and I know your family, your friends, they're a big part of the success of Hollywood Hot Rods, aren't they?
Well, people always ask, what's the secret to your success and how did this come to be? And I always tell people you kind of have to sell your soul to this. I mean, you have to do it wholeheartedly, and in the beginning, I sacrificed, house and kids and all of these things in order to do this. So you have to have the support of your family behind you, because, I mean, let's face it, to start a new business and be successful at something like this, 24/7. I slept on the shop floor. $8 hamburgers at McDonald's to really keep this going. And if you don't have a support system behind you, you just can't survive.
Now let's talk about the cars. Where did it all start? Was there one car that you started with that your artistic impression of hot rods started with?
Well, I think the art end of it grew over the years, but my first car was a '66 Mustang, and it was handed down from my grandfather to my dad, and then he handed it to me. And I grew up, that was all I had, and we grew up pretty poor, and so the car broke. It broke down, and like, well, what do I do? It's like, well, you better learn to fix it. So that's kind of how that evolved, and I kind of just found a joy in that. Part of the, I don't know, it was just fun accomplishing things with myself, with my hands and things like that. So from there, that evolved into like performance upgrades, and I did a little street racing way back when, and it was just this passion, and that was really how the mechanical end and the passion first spawned. Then that jumped over into the artistic side when I found a 36 Ford 5-window coupe. That was my second car, and it was just a hulk of a body in a guy's yard, and I didn't know anything about street rods, hot rods, or anything. I just knew that I liked the lines and the look of that car, so I bought it and just bought books, went to the library, and learned how to build it.
So what's next for Troy Ladd? What is the next big project or the next big dream car for you?
Well, the next big car is always the car that I'm currently working on. I mean, that's kind of how it is. People always say, what's the best car you ever did? It's the last one I finished. Right?
Exactly.
So we really have a pretty huge project in the works. It'll either go to America's Most Beautiful Roadster or Riddler or one of those, but it's really this vintage coach-built 35 Packard kind of concept vehicle. So it's really unique. It's kind of it's 40s era specific, but all handmade, all very new and unique. So it's not like anything else, but in a way, historically and era specific, it kind of is. Yeah. If that makes sense.
That makes complete sense. This is Troy Ladd. He's an artist and a car builder, and this is his car life.